U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Trump administration's new envoy to NATO attended a meeting in Brussels on Thursday with the alliance's top diplomats. According to Associated Press, European allies and Canada are deeply concerned by President Donald Trump's readiness to draw closer to Russian leader Vladimir Putin, who sees NATO as a threat, amid a U.S. effort to broker a ceasefire in Ukraine. Recent White House comments and insults directed at NATO allies Canada and Denmark, as well as the military alliance itself, have sowed alarm and confusion, especially as new U.S. tariffs took effect on Wednesday against friends and foes alike. Since Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warned last month that U.S. security priorities lie elsewhere, in Asia and on its own borders, the Europeans have waited to learn how big a military drawdown in Europe could be and how fast it may happen. In Europe and Canada, governments are working on burden-shifting plans to take over more of the load, while trying to ensure that no security vacuum is created if U.S. troops and equipment are withdrawn from the continent. These allies are keen to hear from Rubio what the Trump administration's intentions are and hope to secure some kind of roadmap that lays out what will happen next and when, so they can synchronize planning and use European forces to plug any gaps.
Many thanks for looking straight in front of you for 5 seconds, please. Excellencies, many thanks for looking straight in front of you for 5 seconds, please.
The youngest daughter of the Russian dictator, Katerina Tikhonova, is directly involved in the Russian military industry. Her foundation is enriched by a share in the Geoscan company, which builds drones for the war against Ukraine. This was reported by the publication Verstka, which received access to the company's financial statements. Tikhonova, through her National Intellectual Development Fund, bought 10% of Geoscan at the end of 2023. After this purchase, the company went up sharply, probably due to government purchases. Its revenue in 2024 increased almost 4 times to 4.7 billion rubles. Geoscan is Russia's largest manufacturer of civil aircraft drones and software for photogrammetric data processing. Since July 2023, Geoscan has been under Ukrainian sanctions due to the fact that the company's products are integrated into the production chain of military and/or dual-use goods and services. After purchasing the company, Tikhonova's fund stopped disclosing financial statements. However, journalists managed to obtain information about the NIR balance sheet. As of 2024, it increased to 4.4 million rubles. Geoscan positions itself as a manufacturer of civilian UAVs. However, in reality, the company is part of the Russian military industry. It is under Ukrainian sanctions with the following argument. The company's products are integrated into the chain of production of military and/or dual-use goods and services. In September 2024, Geoscan, together with the Prosveshcheny Publishing House, developed a teaching aid on drones for students in grades 8 to 9. Ukraine imposed sanctions against Geoscan in early July 2023 due to the statement of Andrei Nazarov, Prime Minister of the Republic of Bashkortostan, that drones for the war in Ukraine will be created at the Geoscan UFA facilities. Geoscan UFA was part of the Geoscan group of companies until July 2022, but Semenov sold 40% of the company to Vena Mirzayanov, CEO of Ural Trading, who owned the remaining 60%. The Ural Trading Company belongs to the unknown Khalid Zaripov. The company is engaged in numerous activities from real estate appraisal to beer and meat trade. However, drone production is not listed in its profile. The Russian army attacked the defensive fortifications of the Ukrainian defense forces in several directions. The attacks were repelled. In Volchansk, in the Kharkov direction, no positions were lost. The enemy concentrated its main efforts on maintaining the combat capability of the forward units, moving additional personnel and evacuating its wounded. The press service of the Operational Tactical Group of Forces Khortytsa reported. It is noted that in the Kupiansk direction, enemy infantry attacks have been successfully repelled near Petrov-Pavlovka, Stepnaya, Novoselovka, Peshchanoy and Zagrizovo. The enemy is again trying to transfer personnel to the western bank of the Oskol River. The defense forces are taking measures to prevent its advancement and movement. In the Liman direction, the occupation army attacked near the settlements of Nadia, Novomikhailovka, Novoye, Yekaterinovka, Zelenaya Dolina, Kolodyazy and Toskoy. The enemy's assault actions were repelled. The enemy also unsuccessfully carried out offensive actions in the Serebryanskoy forestry, the report says. In the Seversky direction, our defenders did not allow the tactical situation near Ivano-Darievka and Belgorovka to worsen. After inflicting fire damage, the enemy retreated. It is also noted that in the Kramatorsk and Toretsk directions, the enemy carried out assault operations of varying intensity in the areas of Predetchino, Chasov Yar and Toretsk. No positions were lost. In the direction of Alexandropol, the enemy carried out an attack using BMPs and MTLBs. As a result of the battle, our defenders destroyed the enemy equipment. In the Pokrovsk direction, the aggressor army continues to attack with isolated use of equipment. Offensive actions of varying intensity occurred in the areas of Yelizavetovka, Novokrenka, Udachny, Novoalexandrovka, Kotolyarovka, Priobrazenka, Bogdanovka, Alexeyevka and Andreevka. To move its personnel to forward positions and to concentration areas, the enemy actively used 9 armoured vehicles and 3 cars. Due to the timely detection of enemy equipment, our defenders inflicted fire damage. As a result, the enemy's losses were 31 soldiers, 10 armoured vehicles, 3 tanks and 4 armoured vehicles were destroyed, as well as 2 cars. Another enemy tank was damaged. The defence forces did not allow the loss of position, the report says. In the Novopavlovsk direction, the enemy tried to break through our defensive lines in the area of Konstantinopol, Razliv and Bulatskoy. The attacks were successfully repelled.